For a long time, the galaxy believed humans were weak. They were a young species, late to the stars. While other races had ruled space for thousands of years, humans had only just learned how to travel beyond their own system. Their ships were smaller, their colonies were few, their history was short. Most importantly, humans were divided. They fought each other, they argued, they changed leaders often. To the ancient races of the galaxy, this meant only one thing: humans would not survive. The strongest power in known space was the alien empire called the Dominion. The Dominion did not negotiate, they did not forgive, they did not forget. They ruled over thousands of worlds and hundreds of species. Their fleets were massive, their weapons were legendary. When a planet resisted, it was crushed in minutes. When a species rebelled, it was erased from history. Entire civilizations had disappeared under Dominion rule. The Galactic Council existed only because the Dominion allowed it to exist. So when Earth refused to kneel, the galaxy was shocked. The human leaders sent a short message to the Council. Earth will not submit. That was all. No threat, no demands, just refusal. The Council chambers filled with laughter. Some delegates thought it was a joke. Others believed humans were ignorant and did not understand what they had done. The Dominion did not laugh. They sent a fleet, not their full armada, not their ancient war engines, just enough ships to remind Earth of its place. The Dominion High Command made it clear this was not a war. It was a lesson. The fleet arrived at the edge of human-controlled space, dark shapes against the stars. Hundreds of massive warships formed perfect attack lines. Their weapons charged slowly, confidently. Dominion commanders spoke calmly to one another. "This will be quick," one said. "The humans will surrender once they see us," said another. The fleet commander allowed a full hour for the operation. "1 hour," he declared. "Then Earth belongs to us." The Galactic Council watched the event live. Millions across the galaxy tuned in. This was expected to be another short example of Dominion power. But as the fleet moved closer to Earth space, something strange became clear. There was no response. No human fleet appeared. No defense stations powered up. No emergency transmissions flooded open channels. Human space was quiet, too quiet. Dominion scanners searched every angle. They found human colonies. They detected stations. They saw ships docked and inactive, but no signs of panic. No civilian ships fleeing. No military formations forming. No desperate calls for help. The fleet commander frowned. "Open a channel," he ordered. A message was broadcast directly to Earth. "This is the Dominion. You have one chance to surrender." Seconds passed, then minutes. Nothing. Some officers began to feel uneasy. The Dominion had never faced silence like this before. Even the bravest species screamed when the fleet arrived. But humans said nothing. The Galactic Council also grew silent. The laughter faded. Something about this situation felt wrong, though no one could explain why. Then, suddenly, a signal appeared. Not from Earth, not from a station. It came from empty space. A single human transmission, clear and calm, spread across every open channel. The voice was steady, not angry, not afraid. "You are already too late." The Dominion command bridge froze. "Too late for what?" one officer asked. Scanners began to malfunction. Data streams flickered. Long-range sensors showed errors. Short-range sensors showed nothing at all. The fleet commander shouted orders. "Weak ally rate. Scan again." Then space itself began to change. At first it was subtle. Stars seemed to bend. Distances felt wrong. Ships drifted slightly out of formation, as if space had softened around them. Then something appeared. Not ships, not explosions. Shadows, dark shapes formed where nothing had been before. Massive outlines emerged silently, without engines or energy signatures. They did not arrive. They did not move. They simply existed. Dominion officers stared in disbelief as human warships surrounded the fleet from every direction. These ships were enormous. Dark metal surfaces absorbed light instead of reflecting it. Their designs were unfamiliar, sharp and heavy, built for war, not beauty. No alarms sounded. No weapons fired. Yet fear spread through the Dominion fleet. The Galactic Council watched in horror. They realized the truth at the same moment the Dominion did. Earth had never been unprotected. Earth had been waiting, and the hour had only just begun. The Dominion fleet did not understand what it was seeing. Human ships were suddenly everywhere. They did not arrive with light. They did not tear space open. They did not use any known travel system. One moment, space was empty. The next moment, it was full. Dark warships surrounded the Dominion fleet from all sides, above, below, behind, between. The formation was perfect, as if it had been planned down to the smallest detail. Dominion sensors screamed warnings, then went silent. Sensor failure. One officer shouted. Communications are down, cried another. Screens flickered across command bridges. Targeting systems failed. Navigation controls stopped responding. Ships drifted slightly out of formation, unable to correct themselves. The fleet commander felt something he had not felt in centuries. Uncertainty. Identify those ships, he ordered sharply. No answer came. The human warships gave no signals, no engine glow, no energy buildup. They floated like massive shadows, cold and patient. The Dominion fleet tried to lock weapons. Nothing happened. Fire manually, an officer shouted. The command was sent. No weapons fired. The Dominion's advanced systems built to crush empires were useless. Then the humans acted. There was no warning, no countdown, no speech, no signal flare. One human ship shifted slightly. That was all. A thin line appeared in space. It was not light. It was not energy. It looked like a cut in reality itself, sharp and silent. The line touched 3 Dominion battleships. They vanished, not destroyed, not damaged, gone. Where massive warships had been, there was now nothing. No wreckage, no heat, no radiation. Space was clean and empty, as if those ships had never existed. The command bridges of nearby Dominion vessels went silent. Officers stared at empty screens. What weapon was that? Someone whispered. No one answered. Mata 17. Dominion captains shouted orders, trying to regain control. Some tried to retreat. Others tried to ram the human ships. A few attempted blind weapon launches. Nothing worked. Human ships moved slowly, calmly, with perfect control. Another line appeared. 2 more Dominion ships disappeared. Then 4. The Galactic Council watched in horror. The broadcast showed the impossible again and again. A fleet that had ruled the galaxy for ages was being erased without a fight. Dominion officers began to understand something terrible. This was not a battle. This was an execution. The fleet commander demanded emergency contact with the Dominion High Command. No response. Long-range communication was gone. The humans had cut them off from the rest of the Empire. A junior officer looked at his scanner, fear clear on his face. Sir, they're not attacking randomly. What do you mean? The commander snapped. They're targeting command ships first, then carriers, then communication nodes. The realization hit like a physical blow. The humans were dismantling the fleet, piece by piece. The Dominion had always believed humans were reckless, emotional, disorganized. They were wrong. Human tactics were cold, precise, perfectly planned. Another Dominion ship vanished, then another. Some alien captains lost control completely. Ships collided as formation discipline collapsed. Emergency lights filled command bridges. Fear replaced discipline. This is impossible. One captain screamed. A human transmission finally appeared. Not loud, not threatening, calm. Dominion fleet, the voice said. You have entered human defense space. The Dominion commander tried to respond. We demand. The channel cut. The human voice continued. You were warned. Another weapon fired. This time, a larger ship vanished. A flagship, a symbol of Dominion power, erased in less than a second. The psychological damage was worse than the physical loss. Dominion officers had been trained never to retreat, never to surrender. Now they begged for orders that did not come. The humans did not rush. They waited. Every second of silence increased the fear. Every disappearance broke morale further. Some Dominion ships powered down their weapons in panic. Others attempted suicide jumps, tearing themselves apart as drives failed. The human fleet watched, unmoved. The Galactic Council understood now. Humanity had technology the galaxy did not understand, weapons that did not destroy but removed, power that did not roar but erased. The belief that humans were weak shattered completely, and the hour had barely begun. The Dominion fleet was breaking. And this was only the first strike. The Dominion finally tried to retreat. The fleet commander gave the order with a tight voice. Prepare emergency jump. All ships, pull back now. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion was running, but nothing happened. Jump drives powered up, then shut down. Navigation systems froze. Coordinates vanished. Reality itself seemed to refuse their escape. Jump failure! Officers shouted across command bridges. Try again. Rude power forces the drive. Nothing worked. Human ships were already moving. They did not rush. They did not chase wildly. They advanced with slow, perfect control, like hunters who knew their prey had nowhere left to run. Human weapons fired again. Dominion shields flared brightly, then collapsed like thin glass. The technology that had protected them against entire armadas failed under focused human fire. One by one, shield grids fell. Dominion ships were exposed. The humans did not waste a single shot. Every strike had a purpose. Command vessels vanished first, then carrier ships, then communication hubs. Each loss caused confusion to spread deeper through the fleet. Orders stopped arriving. Fleet formations broke. Squadrons drifted without guidance. Within minutes, the Dominion fleet was no longer an army. It was a crowd of terrified ships. The Galactic Council watched everything live. Delegates sat frozen in their seats, eyes wide, breathing shallow. No one spoke. No one dared interrupt the feed. This had never happened before. In all of recorded history, the Dominion had never lost a major battle. They had never retreated. They had never broken. Yet now, before the eyes of the galaxy, the impossible was happening. The Dominion was losing. Human ships moved with terrifying discipline. They flowed through space in clean lines, adjusting position with small movements. They did not collide. They did not hesitate. They did not fire wildly. There was no chaos on the human side, only control. Inside a human command vessel, officers stood calmly at their stations. Voices were quiet. Orders were short and clear. Target Group 3 neutralized. Shift formation. Proceed to Phase 2. No cheers, no anger, no excitement. These humans were not fighting out of rage. They were executing a plan. A Dominion cruiser tried one final act of defiance. Its captain ordered a direct charge toward a human ship, hoping to ram it. The human vessel did not move. At the last second, the cruiser vanished. The space where it had been was empty. The remaining Dominion ships slowed. Fear crushed discipline. Some captains powered down weapons, hoping surrender might save them. Others fired blindly, desperate and panicked. A few tried to flee at sublight speed, knowing it would take years. Human weapons ended those attempts quickly. The fleet commander of the Dominion stood in silence, watching his forces disappear. His hands trembled. "This cannot be happening," he whispered. For centuries, the Dominion had believed itself eternal. Now, that belief was dying. The Galactic Council realized the truth before the Dominion did. This battle was not about Earth alone. Humanity was sending a message. They were showing the galaxy what happened when patience ran out. Humanity had been watching the Dominion for a long time, watching worlds burn, watching species vanish, waiting, and now they were finished waiting. Another human transmission appeared across open space, not loud, not proud, clear and controlled. "You chose demonstration," the voice said. "We chose conclusion." The Dominion commander attempted to answer. His signal never reached him. Human ships closed in tighter. The remaining Dominion vessels were boxed in, trapped inside a moving ring of dark metal and silent weapons. The Empire's greatest fleet was now helpless. Some Dominion officers collapsed to their knees. Others stared blankly at screens that showed nothing but loss. The humans continued their advance, slow, unstoppable. The Galactic Council feed cut briefly as systems struggled to handle the scale of destruction. When it returned, fewer Dominion ships remained. Much fewer. The Council delegates understood something that chilled them to the core. If humanity could do this in minutes, what could they do in an hour? The empire that had ruled the galaxy through fear was breaking apart, piece by piece, under calm human control. And this was only the beginning. The Dominion's power was collapsing. Its legend was dying. And across the galaxy, every species watched, realizing the same terrifying truth. The humans were not angry. They were done waiting. 30 minutes had passed since the first human weapon fired. Only 30 minutes, yet the galaxy already felt different. At first, the destruction seemed limited to the space near Earth. The Dominion fleet there was collapsing, piece by piece, under calm and precise human attacks. But then reports began to arrive, not from Earth, from everywhere. Across distant star systems, Dominion outposts went silent. Patrol fleets disappeared. Long-range communication relays stopped responding. The Galactic Council tried to understand what was happening. They failed. Human forces were not just near Earth. They were everywhere. Hidden deep inside asteroid belts, human stations powered up for the first time in decades. Weapons that had slept in silence suddenly came alive. In forgotten systems, old human research platforms activated their shields and revealed massive gun arrays. Dormant fleets emerged from dark space, uncloaking all at once. The galaxy watched as thousands of human-controlled assets awakened together, moving in perfect timing. This was not chaos, this was synchronization. Dominion shipyards were the next to fall. Massive construction hubs, once protected by thick defenses, vanished from sensors. Some were erased completely. Others were disabled with precise strikes that left them floating and useless. Empire supply lines collapsed within minutes. Fuel convoys stopped arriving. Weapon shipments never reached their destinations. Food transports vanished into silence. Dominion commanders across the galaxy demanded answers. They received none. Alien worlds began to go dark. Entire planets lost power as orbital control systems were shut down. Defense grids went offline. Some worlds surrendered instantly, their leaders begging for mercy that never came. Others tried to fight. They did not last long. The Galactic Council broadcast emergency meetings non-stop. Delegates shouted over each other, fear replacing politics. How is this possible? Where did these fleets come from? Why didn't we see this? The answer slowly became clear. Humanity had been planning this for a very long time. For decades, humans had been expanding quietly. They had built bases where no one looked. They had placed weapons inside empty systems, deep space, and unstable regions no one dared to enter. They did not show their strength. They hid it. Earth had never been unprepared. Earth had been patient. Human commanders spoke calmly as reports flowed in. Sector 9 secured. Shipyard Theta neutralized. Supply corridor collapsed. No excitement. No surprise. Everything was expected. The Dominion's outer fleets tried to respond. They failed. Human attacks hit faster than orders could travel. Fleet commanders found themselves isolated, cut off from command and support. Some Dominion fleets surrendered without firing a shot. Others were destroyed before they understood what was happening. The empire that once ruled through fear was now blind and deaf. The Galactic Council finally understood the scale of the disaster. This was not retaliation. This was removal. Humanity was not fighting the Dominion's fleets alone. They were dismantling the empire itself. Economic systems fell. Political control vanished. Military command structures collapsed. All within 30 minutes. A Dominion governor on a distant world watched human ships appear above his planet. No message arrived. No demands were made. The ships simply waited. The governor surrendered. Across the galaxy, the same scene played again and again. Human warships hovering in silence. Dominion leaders breaking in fear. Humanity did not occupy planets. They did not take control. They disabled. They removed. They left. The message was clear. The Dominion would no longer exist. The Galactic Council delegates sat in silence as the truth settled in. Humanity had known the Dominion would come one day, and when that day arrived, humans did not react. They executed a plan. Every move was measured, every strike calculated, every second accounted for. The hour was not a guess, it was a schedule. 30 minutes in, the Dominion had lost its borders. Its fleets were shattered. Its supply lines were gone. Its worlds were falling. The empire that had terrified the galaxy for centuries was unraveling faster than anyone thought possible. And Earth remained silent. No victory messages, no speeches, no streets, no threats, just action. The galaxy finally understood what humans truly were. Not reckless, not weak, patient, and when their patience ended, so did empires. Only 10 minutes remained. Across what was left of the Dominion, panic ruled. Broken fleets drifted in silence. Darkened worlds waited in fear. Command chains were shattered, and no clear orders existed anymore. At the center of the collapsing empire, the Dominion Emperor stood inside his fortress. For centuries, that fortress had been a symbol of fear. It floated above the Dominion capital world, surrounded by layers of shields and guarded by the strongest defenses ever built. No enemy had ever reached it. Until now. The Emperor watched reports stream across his command chamber. Every message was worse than the last. Outer fleets destroyed, shipyards gone, supply lines collapsed. The Empire was dying. For the first time in his long life, the Emperor felt something unfamiliar, fear. This cannot continue, he said quietly. Advisors argued. Generals shouted. Some demanded one final attack. Others begged for retreat to hidden systems. The Emperor raised his hand. Open a channel, he ordered. To humanity. His voice echoed through the chamber. We will speak. The demand for surrender talks was sent across space, marked with the highest Dominion authority. It was broadcast on every known frequency. The Galactic Council watched in silence. Many believed this was the moment humanity would stop. Surely now, the Dominion Emperor waited. Seconds passed, then a response came, but not to him alone. Humanity did not answer privately. They broadcast to all known space. Every world, every station, every ship. The human signal was clear and calm. No anger, no pride, just truth. We did not seek empire, the human voice said. We did not seek war, but we will never accept chains. The message was short. There were no threats, no demands, no celebration. The Emperor understood immediately. This was not a negotiation. This was an ending. Before any further command could be given, space around the Dominion capital system began to shift. Human ships emerged from the darkness. Hundreds, then thousands. They formed a wide ring around the system, cutting off every escape route. Defensive platforms activated, but their systems failed one by one. The capital world watched as the sky filled with silent human warships. The Emperor shouted orders. Activate all shields. Fire everything. Protect the fortress. The Dominion's strongest weapons unleashed waves of energy. Space burned. Light filled the void. The human ships did not retreat. Their shields absorbed the attacks without effort. Then the humans fired. The weapons used against the capital were different. They did not erase. They did not cut. They collapsed. Space folded inward around the fortress. Defensive layers twisted and broke as if pulled by invisible hands. Towers bent, walls cracked. The Emperor watched in disbelief as the symbol of Dominion power began to fail. This is impossible, he whispered. The fortress split apart. Its core imploded, dragging metal, energy, and matter into nothingness. The explosion was silent but absolute. The Empire's greatest symbol burned and vanished. Below, the capital world went dark. Across the galaxy, Dominion-controlled systems lost their last connection to command. Without the fortress, without the Emperor, there was no authority left. The Dominion was finished. The Galactic Council stared at their screens, unable to speak. The time marker reached 1 hour. In less than 60 minutes, the most powerful empire in history had ceased to exist. Human ships did not advance further. They did not occupy the capital. They did not claim territory. They did not demand tribute. They simply withdrew. Silence returned to space. Worlds that had lived in fear for generations realized something incredible. The Dominion was gone. Not defeated, not replaced. Removed. The galaxy waited for humanity's next move. None came. No speeches, no victory parades, no declarations. Humanity returned to its space, leaving behind only wreckage and freedom. The message was understood by every species. Humans did not conquer for power. They did not destroy for pride. But when pushed, when chained, when tested, they ended empires. And the galaxy would never forget the hour that changed everything. The war ended. Not with celebration, not with speeches, not with victory parades. It ended with silence. Human ships withdrew from Dominion space slowly and calmly. They did not chase survivors. They did not claim planets. They did not raise flags or symbols of control. They simply left. Across the galaxy, Worlds waited in fear, expecting new orders. For generations, the Dominion had ruled everything. Every system had known only one kind of power: control through fear. Now that power was gone, and nothing replaced it. The Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session. Delegates arrived shaken, exhausted, and changed. Many had lost worlds. Many had lost allies. Some had lost faith in everything they believed. For the first time in history, the Council spoke without the shadow of the Dominion hanging over them, and they were afraid. Not of humanity attacking again, but of what humanity represented. Overnight, the laws of the galaxy were rewritten. No empire would rule unchecked again. No species would be erased without consequence. No fleet would be allowed to demonstrate power through terror. Humanity was placed at the center of every discussion, not as rulers, not as judges, but as a line no one dared to cross. Humanity was no longer ignored, no longer mocked, no longer called young or weak. They were studied, they were respected. On worlds once crushed by the Dominion, people gathered under open skies. Some cried, some celebrated. Some simply stood in silence, unable to understand what freedom felt like. They spoke of humans in quiet voices, not as gods, not as monsters, but as something worse for tyrants. A limit. Human leaders did not give interviews. They did not tour the galaxy. They did not demand thanks. Earth returned to normal life. Cities rebuilt. Ships docked. People went to work. To humans, the war was not glory. It was necessity. In military archives across the galaxy, analysts tried to understand what had happened. They replayed battle footage thousands of times. They all reached the same conclusion. Humanity had never rushed. They had watched. They had learned. They had waited. For decades, humans had seen the Dominion destroy worlds. They had seen warnings ignored. They had seen diplomacy fail. And they had prepared, not loudly, not proudly, quietly. The most terrifying part was not human weapons. It was human restraint. They did not strike first. They did not seek revenge for old wounds. They did not hunger for power. They fought only when pushed too far. A Dominion survivor drifted in, a damaged ship, at the edge of known space. His empire was gone. His emperor was dead. Everything he believed in had vanished in 1 hour. He remembered the human message. We did not seek empire. We did not seek war, but we will never accept chains. Only now did he understand what it meant. Humanity did not want to rule the galaxy. They wanted the freedom to exist without fear, and they were willing to end empires to protect that freedom. The Galactic Council placed a new phrase into its official records. It became a warning taught to every new diplomat, commander, and leader. If humans ever speak calmly in the face of overwhelming force, if humans ever stop arguing and go quiet, if humans ever say, "You are already too late," then it means every choice has been made, every plan activated, every line crossed. There will be no talks, no delays, no mercy, because humanity does not fight often. But when they do, they finish it. The galaxy changed forever that day. Not because a new empire rose, but because one fell and nothing replaced it. And deep in the stars, Earth remained exactly where it was. Silent, watching, patient.